What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to talk about where the Supernova and the Night Road fit into my arsenal now that they've been out for a few days. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you like this jersey or any of the jerseys in any of my videos, coolwick.com, use my promo code Napoles10, and then under that custom logo area, make sure to use my personal logo. I'm going to be giving away a bunch of jerseys to random people who use this logo in any part of their jersey. And then, guys, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying so hard to catch Darren Tang. I'm like 50,000 subscribers behind him. So smash the subscribe button. Help me catch him. All right, so the Night Road and the Supernova are the two newest balls that have been released. I know the Phase 5 and the Electrify are the next ones, but these are the newest ones that have been released, and today we're going to talk about where they fit into my arsenal. So let's talk a little bit about the tech before we get into that. The Supernova features the ignition core, which in 15 pounds has an RG of 2.49, a max differential of 0.052, and a PSA of 0.019. So it's a very, very strong early rolling core. And then wrapped around that core is the NEX solid cover stock that comes out of box at a 2000 grit finish. And then the layout on this one is 30 by 4.5 by 30. Then when we turn it around to the Night Road, it features the inverted FE squared technology core, which in 15 pounds has an RG of 2.57 and a max differential of 0.046. And then wrapped around that core is the REX Pearl cover stock that comes out of box at a 4K fast finish, and then the layout on it is 30 by 4 by 30. So now that I've had about a month's time to really get to know these balls, get familiar with these balls, I'm gonna tell you what scenarios, what situations I really like them in, and then we'll take them on the lane so that you guys can see them. The Supernova with the out of box finish is just a little bit too strong for me in my game and where I typically bowl at. So if we're talking about on a house shot, I changed that 2000 grit finish to a 4000 finish, and then it makes it much more usable in the league that I bowl at. With that 2000 out of box finish, I like it a lot on the higher volume sport shots. I did a video on Bear, which is a 30 mil volume pattern, and it looked fantastic on that. Then when we turn it around to the Night Road, it's pretty much any time that I have to start creating a lot of angle through the fronts, once the lanes are nice and transitioned, that's when I'm gonna get into something like the Night Road. So we're gonna be here on lane 1 at Samstown on a fresh typical house shot, and I'm just gonna go back and forth to show you guys what these balls look like on the fresh, and then as the lanes transition, I'll move left with both of these balls to show you how they look like. What I suspect is that the Supernova is going to look a little bit better on the fresh, but as the lanes transition, as we chase it left, the Night Road is going to start to look a little bit better. Let me know in the comments if you guys have a Supernova or a Night Road, and which one of these two is your favorite and why. All right, first out here, we're going to start in the Supernova, because this is the one that I like the most on the fresh. Nice and forward off the spot. And then, yeah, this 4000 finish that I put on the Supernova, it really transforms it into a good house shot ball for me. That red light got me a little bit. Supernova don't care. All right, then one more shot here with the Supernova, and then I'll get into the Night Road. And like I said, just flop back and forth between the two. Not my best shot. All right, so overall, I really like the Supernova on those first 3 shots. Now we're gonna go to the Night Road, move like 3 or 4 left, or right rather, sorry. See how it looks. Yeah, so much cleaner and quicker down lane, so let's move left. Yeah, I'm gonna move left off that shot. On the fresh, I'd rather have something like the Supernova, way more control down lane than this Night Road. Yeah, and then really how this ball looks on the fresh is almost irrelevant to me because I'm never really gonna throw it on the fresh. Just showing you guys this for the video here. Even though that's a pretty good shot. And then just back in the Supernova, just gonna go right back to that same spot just because it looked really good before. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty horrific 9-pin, but that was a pretty good shot. We're just gonna chase that left a little bit here. right, so that last shot went a little high, so I'm gonna move left just a little bit off that shot. All right, back in the night road, I'm having to move pretty far left pretty quick today. So it'll be interesting to see how long the Supernova looks good for. Maybe my first step should just go backwards here at Samstown because I cannot stop sliding here. And now I'm worried about fouling. Yeah, now I'm just worried about fouling. So this will be my last ball here with the night road. Go to the desk, kind of just talk about what we're seeing. That's a pretty good shot though. So the biggest difference between these two balls, at least on the fresh, is that the Supernova is way more forward and way easier to control down lane than the night road. The night road wants to be much, much more angular, but we kind of already knew that. So as the lanes develop, you're gonna notice that the Supernova is gonna start to look a little bit less great, and the night road is gonna start to look even better as these lanes transition. And the lanes are really extra slippery today, and I keep fouling. We're just gonna keep chasing both of these left and just kind of see what the limits are of both of these. Yeah, just the level of control that the Supernova offers on the fresh makes me like it that much more than the night road. But again, we knew that already. Whew. All right, let's stay right there, but kind of shut our angles down a little bit and see how it looks. There's just so much friction here. Like there. Yeah, see, when I throw this in league, I can kind of keep it like that, more straighter through the fronts. Let's try that again here. Oh, and then I missed by a mile, right? No chance. All right, let's see how the night road looks. I still don't think the lanes are transitioned enough, but we'll see here. Yeah, so that shot looked a little bit better, and you can already see it's already starting to look much better now that it's not on the fresh. Yeah, it's already looking much, much better. I still think that right now I'm still leaning more towards the Supernova though. Oh, okay. I think the big thing here is if I can keep my angles more shut down, then the Supernova just looks really, really good. So let's try to do that here. Kind of like there, hook. So if we're talking about where these balls fit in the arsenal, the Supernova is just always going to be that first ball on the heaviest volume patterns. Oh, missed right. Come around it. Yeah. I mean, the fact that I missed that far right and it still wanted to shape, probably a good sign, but let's try to keep our angles shut down here. Like there. And then I big four. All right, let's keep chasing this night road now, a little bit further left. I think it's starting to come into its own. All right, let's move a hair right off that, see if we can be a little bit more flush, and then we'll see. All right, so let's stay left with the night road, maybe soften up, because I didn't really love that last shot. Let's try to get soft here. There we go. All right, so now the combination of the lanes being transitioned and the super high friction environment that we're bowling on, now the night road is really starting to look a little bit better than the Supernova. I think the Supernova really benefits from higher volume patterns, less friction on the lanes, and that's because of that super strong cover. So now when we get back on the lanes, I'm going to chase the night road left, creating larger and larger angles. but I'm really gonna try to stay a little bit further right with the Supernova, keep my angles a little bit more shut down, maybe juice them up the lane if I have to, just to kind of see, because I don't really want to be playing third, fourth arrow, fifth arrow with a ball as strong as a Supernova on this much friction. Probably not the best look. Let's get on the lanes and just continue to see where these balls fit into my arsenal. All right, we're gonna move back on the approach in the Supernova, kind of trying to just juice one up the lane and see how this looks. Nope. No, 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 no. All right, yeah, so hard and straight, too much friction here. Let's move left and give the people what they want. All right, that was a pretty bad shot. So let's get back to basics here, throw a good one, slow roll it to the right, and hopefully it goes through the pins. Did not go through the pins. All right, back in the back in the night road, we're just gonna keep chasing this one left for sure. All right, so that looked pretty good. Let's open up our angles now and see how it looks. That was a good shot. Yeah, I just think this night road looks a little bit better when the lanes are transitioned like this and I get to create some more angle. Let's do that again here. More. All right, I'm gonna go right back to that spot, but with the Supernova, and see if I can't make it look pretty good from here. All right, so let's see if that was just a fluke, because that looked pretty good. Again, let's just try to get it right here. All right, and then one more shot here with the Supernova, and then we'll finish off in the night road. He's a machine. All right, and then 5 shots here to end the video, or sorry, 3 shots to end the video, all gonna be in the night road. I probably said 5 shots because I got the face 5 on the brain. Let's make a good shot here with the night road. All right, last shot of the video here. Gonna make another little jump left. Just really want to slow hook it here to the right. That's a pretty good. All right, so we're all done now throwing the Supernova and the night road. And the question for the video was, where does the night road and the Supernova fit into my arsenal? And I think this video did at least a pretty good job at showing that the Supernova looks a little bit better on the fresh when I can keep my angles a little bit more shut down. Granted, what I'm bowling on right now, I mean, it's a fresh typical hot shot, but you guys know there's a lot of friction here at Samson. It's not the best place to throw something like the Supernova. But that's when I'm gonna go to this ball, is when there's a lot of oil on the lanes, keep the angles a little bit more in front of me. When I need a ball motion that's a little bit more forward. And then the night road, I mean, you guys saw, it looks fantastic here in these high friction environments. So anytime that I need to get left, create shape, just throw it into the friction, something like the night road is just gonna look fantastic. So thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. We got plenty of content coming. I think the Phase 5 video, hopefully within a week, week and a half, I should have it up, if not sooner. Click right here to watch another one of my videos. Click right here to subscribe. Till next time.